Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Build, recommended by 9 out of 10 doctors as the best way to end your week. I'm really hoping this starts up shortly on my laptop so that I can kill it off, because it is kind of struggling at the minute. That's never good. How is everyone today? From what people should notice is a slightly altered camera angle. Welcome, Mr. Lancaster. You arrived just as I was pressing the go live button. This is getting kind of awkward with my laptop now. Let's just pop out the chat and pretend it's not happening. And now the chat's not. There we go. Chat is loaded. Excellent. Good evening, Tom. Welcome. How are you? I sent you a PM over on RM Web. Don't know if you've seen it yet. So, welcome everyone. I am going to start with a bit of good news for James, if you're still about. Because we have here my i3 kit that obviously you want to see me build, and inside my i3 kit, along with many instructions and bits of tissue paper, we have a full set of Romfords. All the Romfords. So, i3 is coming in the very near future. It is all here in the general improvements for the channel. We have, let's unscrew this bolt here. Oh dear, I've not unscrewed it enough. There we go. We have a moving camera, so we can get better views of what I am actually doing. So that will give us better views right across to where the test track is. Swinging all round, we can get at all parts of the workbench much easier, and you guys can get a better view of what's going on. This is of course in thanks in part to the Patreon, as the modifications I have made have been funded by my Patreon account, so thank you to my Patreons. Yes, Christopher, it was a good job I got that out to show you and discovered it had Romfords in it. I am very happy with that. Hello, Max. Hello, Harry. Welcome. How are you this evening? We are just about to start work on the lovely Thunderbolt. You see, I can see now that this is focused, and I can see where the logo is because I can see the camera. It is wonderful. I am very happy with this, and I hope everyone else is too. So we're going to take the chassis, give it a quick second coat of the black because it needs it, and we're going to do some more of the body details. If we look over here at my picture of the Thunderbolt, we need some red across the top here, we need some red on the outside here, we need some red round where it's riveted, and we need the nameplates as well as, again, red around the tender. So, yes, I am very happy with how things are going with the channel now. And the fact I can do this and show you things even better. If I put it here, you can see what I see. It's good, isn't it? One day we'll get on with that layout, but first I need to buy it track. So we're going to start with the black paint. I am very well, thank you, Harry. So I say I'm very happy with how the channel's going. We have the black paint, which as you can see is actually matte 32, which is dark grey. It's not a black, but it works brilliantly. And you know, if there's anything else you'd like to see change on the channel, do let me know. Because, you know, the channel is about you as much as it's about me. You guys are why I'm here. I spent quite a while making modifications to my tripod to get this attached. In fact, because the boom arm I have used for mounting the camera onto is actually a microphone arm and is the same one I am using for my microphone, which is why I knew it would work, because I gave that a look over before ordering. Only 4 minutes and improvements making huge impact. Excellent, glad to hear it, Harry. Massively improved camera setup. Thank you, Killian. This is the sort of thing I've wanted from day one, but I also wanted to make sure the channel was going to work before I did it. Because whilst I did it, you know, I invested what is to me a fair amount of money into my setup. Anyway, I didn't want to go over the top with my investments on things I couldn't reuse afterwards. If you know, it didn't work. You want to see more stunts, James? I mean, I could do a live crispy tin if you want. The wheels are very slanted, Max. They are not in place. They are pulled away from the chassis at the moment so that I can get in there with the paintbrush. Because, of course, I should have painted the chassis before putting the wheels on. But, you know, I'm really, really clever, so I didn't. Let's just give the brush a quick wash. The motor is a K's original motor. I mean, I don't think you can get much difference in armatures. I'd like to take this moment to remind everyone that hydration is important, even if you are a superhero dad. Knocking the camera. Silly me. So next we are going to get on with the red sections we were talking about. We'll have to mask off some of the logo to do that. which won't be an issue. Because we have here the little roll of masking tape. Awesome mug. It is awesome, Christopher. It is a freezer mug, so it's nice and cool as well. So we won't have quite the same issues with me being way too hot constantly because it is frozen. I just need to learn to move around the camera that is sat in front of my face right now. So on the loco, where's my pointy sticks? Here they are. We're going to have to mask off around here, over at the back here. These should be fine to paint regardless, and I believe that's all the red we're going to need for now on the loco. And then around the tender, just panelling both sides, and I'm going to guess back as well. And obviously once all this paint has gone off, it still needs the gold doing. Oh yeah, it might grab a protein bar in a second. There's one that I enjoy having one every now and then. Protein bar this time. Yeah, fair enough. Getting a Gary, you are getting a Gary eye view. You are very close to where I am actually sitting looking at all this. I am literally positioned over the top of the camera right now, looking down. So, masking tape, that is what we were doing. I wish I'd managed to find my slightly thinner stuff, but never mind. And I wish it wasn't getting stuck to my scissors, but again, never mind. If I cut this down first, it's going to be easier. And of course, all this paint has had, well, in the case of this black, has had 2 weeks sat on here to go off. Doesn't the camera get in your way? Yes, the camera is well and truly in my way right now, Harry, but it is a sacrifice worth making for you fine people. Sorry to interrupt, but would the roof still be that off-white on the K? Yes, it would in the livery you're doing it, Christopher. I expect photos when it's done. I'm pretty sure that is the colour I have done my locos in that livery. See, the cables are hanging out this side of the phone. In fact, where my finger is on the screen, there is 2 cables poking out right there and looping round so that I've got my bit of slack that I need. And I keep knocking them. I am not meaning to. I do apologise. Now, the reason, I just want to say that, the reason I have done this big bit across the top first, I really need to look at the camera now that I can see it, so I'm not holding things off, is so that when I peel this back off, I can peel this one sheet up, and it's going to take these 2 on the edges with it. So this one, which would otherwise be quite awkward to pull off, will come off on its own. 4:13 there. Ah, okay, so quite early compared to here then, where it is currently 9:15. So how does this camera angle work for everyone? Obviously it's got to be an improvement over the previous. But you guys are worth it. You come here, you support me, you are awesome, and I appreciate it. So I can deal with the awkward camera. And I will move it to anywhere you so choose. It's good, is it 4K? It's inconvenient too much with the camera. Sorry, where is the font same? Yes, Christopher, same font as you used before. Yeah, exactly the same font you used before, in fact. Good camera, so it's 4K. No, Max, it's not 4K. The camera can stream in 4K, but I'm not sure my dodgy internet can handle it, so we're just at 1080p at the moment. It's good, hope it isn't inconveniencing you too much. No, Alex, it's not too much at all. If this camera angle stays, I'll probably look at doing something with the cables to move them further out my way. But other than that, it's not that much of an issue for me. Really, it is the cables that are the problem rather than where the camera is. And again, that was the cables I hit, not the camera. Alex, I'm loving your streams just as much as I've No Kill Model Railways, which is immense in a good way. I'm glad to hear you are enjoying Alex's streams too, Max. I have not yet had time to look at the new streaming schedule. I assume it went up earlier today as planned. Two smaller bits down the side. I forgot this was going to be too wide here. So, does anyone... Oh, always happy to see fellow railway enthusiasts in my chat. So, 12 viewers. Yeah, wow, these are great numbers. Thank you. Wow, yes. So, does anyone have any projects ongoing at the moment, either in general or that they are working on with me as their background music, background noise. I'm going to move this magazine out my way quickly because that is also interfering. My arm keeps getting stuck to it. Yes, I'm playing Train Sim World, still on the J class. How is the J class coming, Harry? Focus. So we're getting there. Slowly. But we're getting there. Do down this side next and then block in front and back as well as I can. The following the curve of the smoke box on the front is going to be the interesting bit. Oh, pug bashing. Excellent, Tom. Excellent. Doing a load of LBSC reskins for trains, mostly for certain gen. Yeah, you can't claim there for me. My laptop won't even run the version of trains you're using. So that's not going to fly. Christopher, we know they're for you. Tinkering away at Jenny's Tender. Oh, excellent. Everyone loves a bit of Jenny's Tender. I hope all those photos that came from me and Alex earlier for Jenny's Tender helped. Still filling holes. Running diesels on that rope. No, you won't, Christopher. Only when you want to wind up me and Alex. Having to mask up is always a painful job as far as I'm concerned. I do not enjoy it. Okay, we'll be running diesel over there. Okay, also, that's in particular, Papa. Well, it has genuinely been the plan from the start. I'm not really. He's uploaded a bit of time now. That's the best plan for a pug bash, Tom, is use up a load of bits. I think you find that's how most of the pug bashes on the pug bash thread came about. No, it's not going to work. Across the back here, I'm just going to have to be really, really careful with the paintbrush. Or hope you can't see it. Just a bit splash, very nice. Just doing it for fun. Been doing too much serious modelling recently. Yes. Current project building rotating disc signal from a kebab skewer and a piece of drawing pin. Taking rather longer than it should as I keep coming up with new ideas on how to operate it. Ooh, interesting. That sounds very interesting, Ian. And quite awkward. I forgot that was stuck on there. Thunderbolt is ashamed of itself and is hiding its face. I don't know what it's done wrong, but it does not want to be seen. Now, I'm sticking this down well so I can see everything through. So you focus. There we go. So you can see the rivets and all the detail, even the centre of the doors and the shape of the smoke box there, so that I can run around the inside with the knife. Should have started from the other side really. Just to cut through the tape. So if I do this with too much pressure, it could be a problem. That's not quite gone through. Serious modelling, there's an interesting concept. Multitasking is evidently not for me. Should have done it when I was building my foam board layout. Now I'm going to have to hack about fit the mechanism in. I do it with modelling the parody series of Thomas and O'Gage. You have to check out the most recent videos, collection videos, and so on. I'm pretty preoccupied, yes. So the Thunderbolt has been a nice diversion from serious modelling. I've gone too far in there. There we go, it's far from perfect, but it's close enough. And trust me, that is a lot bigger than real life on the screen. In fact, I'm going to look at that on the screen because I didn't see these bits flick. I can't see them at all in real life. That's not got enough grip. I wonder if I can get it with ease. So there we go. new modelling tip. Do it with a camera in front of you and you can get an inflated image. Hydration, kids. Very, very important. I'm just fed the lines, not suggest possibly Manchester and Birmingham or Grand Junction. So, I do know 5 foot drivers, for instance, Thunderbolt has. They assumed she was lying. That is something I had heard before. I'm now wondering if I'd heard it from you, Killian. I know the tender certainly isn't original. The tender currently behind the Thunderbolt, or Lion, however you're feeling on calling it today, obviously came from a Furness loco during its restoration in 1930. That has not cut well. Nice trimming, interesting suggestion that webcam shut finish cut. See the neat. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not something I'd thought about before, Ian, but it is working really well as a sort of magnifying glass. Right, that's the right height. So if I can actually get this to cut straight, that's going to save me some tape. Anthony Dawson told me he's writing the book on her. Oh, wow. So I've certainly heard before that Lion might not be Lion. Now, I'm going to direct you back to my picture because it is my only point of reference here. On here, I cannot see the tender flares very well. So, what colour are they? Is this a red box that goes green again on the flares? Now, and whilst I wait for lag to catch up, so I'm just going to mark down here with the knife, peel the tape off slightly, and I've got to mark exactly where I want to cut then. If my scissors would cooperate, which they clearly haven't, as you can see from the terrible state of that. Do you know where I can find DVD to fun bundle in the YouTube? We want to watch the film for ages. No. Sort of, maybe something will come up on eBay, but I don't think it even comes up on there very often. You see, no one sells their copy of the Titfield Thunderbolt because everyone wants it. There we go, they've played along that time. It's just my inability to cut straight that's ruined it. Loco reskin, just need to do the tender. I hope it is looking good, Mr. Lancaster. So, I mean, it can't be any worse than it was, let's be honest. Ah, hello, Corbs. Welcome, how are you? Good to see you here. I hope you're enjoying my Patreon funded new camera angle. From those very, very generous people that fund my Patreon. Link in the description below. I've messed that up, haven't I? Yep. Definitely. So if I move this one onto the back, it'll at least be long enough. That'll be alright. I should really look at what I'm doing. Looks much better than doing before. Yeah, you need camera angles. Oh, okay, I've regional compatible. For DVDs, I watched the UK dub of Thomas. They used the term fat controller a few times. They used the term fat controller a lot in the UK series. That is what he's known as. The American censors deemed it too offensive. He controls the fat because his family own a lard factory. Brilliant, Corbs. Absolutely brilliant. I've cut it too short. That was silly. For some reason I thought they'd better not say the word fat in America. I was trying to avoid the obvious joke, Killian. Because, you know, I've looked in a mirror for starters. Some Americans use the term fat controller more than his other name. I can think of one. You need to kit bash the SECR and LBSC guard kits together. Also, hi, that's back in England. Welcome back, Red. Good to have you with us. Hydration, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very, very important. Got the shot onto TV in front of me of Thunderbolts tender. Okay, and how do the flares look? Because, as I say, in this picture I've got on here, they're in shadow and I can't see them. Yes, welcome back to the UK, Red. But we kept the weather for you. We hope you feel at home. Kit bash what kits together, Red? Get rid of this down into my bin next to me. Evidently, I was out at the Bluebell Railway yesterday. I got myself something for the Thunderbolts tender. It just happened to be laying on the floor unguarded, wanting a nice new home, so it got one. Right. Let's see if we can manage to get enough red paint out of this to cover these sections that need doing in red. And hope it doesn't take too many coats, because there really is not a lot in here. Right, it's the tender flares that has the red line, but the normal green on the immediate rivet line is not the easiest to describe. I think so if I understand what you're saying right, Alex, is the red goes along here as normal, and then the flares are green with red lining around the outside of them. If I understand you correctly. A thick red line that starts. Yeah. Oh. No, don't tell me the last bits of it have dried out. That would be really awkward, wouldn't it? This red paint is looking rather like it needs replacing. Yes, that's correct. Excellent. So I guess we'll have to do some more masking. But let's do a bit of applying paint first, shall we? We're nearly an hour in now, guys. I want to watch Lady Killers a lot too, as well as the Italian Job's a great film. It has not been long since my last watch of that classic piece of British filmmaking. Now we get to see just how careful I can be. Oh, I think that'll do. Yes, I remake. I keep the film up on screen in HD. So do will help. I think they're both bank robbery films. Yes, they are, Matt. Well, we're throwing films out there. The Lavender Hill Mob is a must-see. Oh no! Guess we'll have to touch that up. The only other thing I can think of, Alex, is the rear of the tender, which I believe is going to be the same as the sides. But obviously my picture doesn't show that. Rather inconsiderate of it. Excellent. Thanks, Alex. I've just remembered another bit. I assume this top bit is also red. It looks it on my picture. So I'm going to say it is. I must say painting raised, it's a lot easier. Gonna paint the top of them red as well. I'm not sure if they're meant to be red, but it's easier than cleaning up the bits I've done. See, I've still managed to mess them up, so they still need some touching in on the green, but not nearly as bad as doing it on a flat section. Film looks gorgeous in HD. Yes, top of the cab rails is red. Excellent, thank you, Alex. Gary, are you going to have a bash at the little colour triangles to go around the chimney? Would be a swine to do something. So, I want to have a go at it, Corbs. I've got to come up with a method of doing so. But yes, I definitely do want to have a go at doing that. A lot of people suggested to me cutting masking tape, but I'm just not sure I could cut masking tape that thin accurately enough, in all honesty. I may actually have to cheat and dig out the silhouette cutter and use that to cut some masking tape. Wrap it round. Hopefully that'll work okay. There's a hole in my casting. Dear Liza, dear Liza. In good weather, paint can dry in 30 minutes. Always tumble enamels for a bit messy. I prefer shipping the acrylics over, better for the skin and everything else. Nearly got this finished. The line disappeared off the tender though. I think at least they can dry in 30 minutes. As for what's on my workbench now, besides the usual stuff and the Gara, I've bought an absolute monster of freelance plastic tack off eBay. I'm also converting number 4 into OSD. I wonder if they're transfers that could work. Might look good with some weather in. Wow, yes, the chimney is super ornate. Wow, lots of things for me to respond to there. I used to work in acrylics, Max. I much prefer enamels now for there being just more hard wearing. That's odd that the line has disappeared off your Tinder, Christopher. Yes, I saw your freelance passenger tank red. It looks brilliant. Can't wait to see what you do with it. Perhaps transfer paper and a colour printer. Possibly, yes. That's a good idea, Ian. I hadn't thought of that. I need to order some transfer paper, actually, as I've got to do some transfers up for club. That's a good idea. Yeah, chimney is super right. Because the advantage of painting it, of course, is because I have the liquid gold, which is actually gold leaf, I can get some real shine out of it if I can find a way of painting it on there. I've just had an idea. I'm going to try something off camera during the week and report back next week. If it works, I'll do it on camera as well. Indeed, the 18th... was Lion 1830s? Was it not 1840? I could be wrong. I've got a feeling now that saying that it was 1836. Again, I could be completely wrong. I can get some photos of the chimney for you. I've got... I can see the chimney well enough on my picture that's up on the wall. So, for now, I'm gonna mask round the top of there completely. And then we can get on with the tender, and I will come back to doing the flares. I may actually do the flares freehand, because I'm not sure I could mask that well enough. (1838). I wasn't far off. Heavily rebuilt 1844 is the chimney brass. It's very ornate. Let's just go with that, Max. Good evening, Luke. Right, update. Yes, tender rear is same as sides. Yep, thought it would be. Excellent. Thank you. It's good having a little army of researchers. And idea makers. To rename my channel's tweet made to Oak Hill Modern Railways Twitter. There is indeed. So the red line around the green on the flare is squared at the corners, not rounded, so should make it a little easier for you. Yes, but I'm doing square anyway because I'm doing it in 4mm scale. I couldn't decide on whether to put Toolbox on tender or not, so I've done a second version with it. Fair enough, Killian, that sounds good. Lining has gone, looks okay, right? Just a couple of bits to do then on C1 chimney. Excellent, Christopher. How are you then, Luke? Welcome to the stream. I think I'm caught up with chat now for the next, 2 seconds until you all start talking again. Oh, it's lucky the film was on in the week, so I get up on iPlayer. Yes, it is, Alex. I mean, it's good the film was on in the week anyway, even if I didn't need it, because let's be honest, it's a film that should be on often. Which it can be here because I've got a copy of it. Although I don't have it in HD, so perhaps I should. The small smooth boiler clad in different smoke store. Why not get a Humbrol Mascot? Because I never thought about it. But yes, that would be a good idea. It's one of those products that I always forget exists. I don't know, there's nothing up there. But my thumb keeps getting stuck into the bottom of the tender space. Yes, oh yeah, Shakespeare will be 10-minute version of Jenny. So I've fished the DVD out right now. Yes, I've got it, but not in HD. So the chassis is dry enough for us to play with. Of course, what it needs, the cranks and the wheels need to be red. So I'm going to try and get all this blue tack off. Because of course now that the chassis is dry and painted, we can let the wheels touch it again. Have some mascara in my flammable liquid. I don't have a flammable liquids cabinet. I just kind of keep them lying around. I wish that was a joke, but I actually have a gallon of IPA sat next to me. So if you can, just spin a wheel. You can apply your paintbrush to the edge and turn the wheel to apply the paint. It gets you a reasonably good finish. Very little goes over onto the treads. Works quite well if you ask me. And I'm assuming since you're here you would be willing to ask me. Listening to my advice, on the other hand, that's a totally different matter. Why do people not paint the wheels before they put them on? Surely that would make more sense. Well, Luke, the reason I don't paint wheels before I put them on is because I'm really clever and I forget. Okay? IPA's not so bad. It's an EFTA you want to watch out for. Luckily, I don't have a huge collection of flammable liquids. The really bad ones just live on top of a cupboard, far out of reach of the small hands of the house. And the really bad stuff has a fire extinguisher next to it, or, well, you know, nearby it. I prefer to give mine black wheels. Works better with my liveries. You know what, Red? All my fictional liveries have had black wheels as well. They work with anything. And honestly, I don't see the point of going to all this effort for a locomotive wheel that's just going to be filthy straight away. And James, that was like, oh, but the Thunderbolt has to have red wheels. It does indeed. Do you model aeroplanes, O'Kill, or tanks? I do have a fair collection of model aircraft. Mostly, but not completely limited to, World War II aircraft. There is some more modern exceptions and a ever-growing number of older exceptions to that, covering the World War I period, which has really taken my interest the most when it comes to aviation for quite a few years now. I do not, however, have any tanks. I think I've built a few in the past, but I certainly don't have any now. How big is your flammable liquid collections? Quite small. It is quite a small collection of flammable liquids. I don't have a huge need for most flammable liquids. But as I say, I do have a fire extinguisher, so maybe I should get a fire extinguisher or CO2. Yes, mine is CO2. Mine doesn't get as much use anymore now that I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend here cooking anymore. Not sure how YouTube friendly that is. It's a discussion. It's perfectly reasonable. Flammable things exist, Matt. Gauge 1 version and explicitly has red painted treads. Very odd. World War 1 aircraft are indeed amazing. Why do you not live stream on... Oh, sorry guys. Why not do a live stream on the Airfix Spitfire? I don't have an Airfix Spitfire. That would be the first reason why. My next aircraft project will be a 172 Royal Aircraft Factory SE5A. When I get round to it. I can't remember how many years ago I bought myself that kit. How would I get into model trains cheaply as an American in the USA? It's hard to find anything British. I couldn't tell you as an American. The way of doing things the cheapest, of course, is scratch building, which is something we covered very early on the channel, Will, and welcome. I hope you enjoy what you are seeing. Yes, I mean, the reason I learned to kit build and scratch build was cost. I learned to do all this because it's cheap. Whoops. Just thought I don't really want to put that away. I want to do the rest of the wheels first, don't I? So that would be my first bit of advice, would be kit building, scratch building. Of course, I am in the UK, so for me, UK out stuff is much easier to get than over there. Hattons is a good source. Any websites also for HO? There isn't really an HO British. No, the HO British is a very niche market. However, if Ian is still about, he is the man to talk to about that because he does model HO British. I used to build airfix kits when I was a nipper. Well, that was my first experience of modelling, was airfix kits when I was younger, James. Very little British stuff has ever been done in HO. Yes. Well, if someone sent my airbrush back to me, I'd be able to get on with my Phantom. Luke, I had a post office when we were first arranging all this to go to. Saying HO also, well, I think Hattons are pretty good overseas deliveries. Go and open that post. Yeah, go and open the post office, Luke. Just general places to look. They have a pretty big pre-owned section. Yeah, I mean, Hattons would be a good place, as everyone else is saying. UK models tend to be 00 rather than HO. If you want model railways cheap, second-hand stuff is a good idea. The reason I keep builds is because the stuff isn't available. That's a very good reason, Luke. Hatton's good for second-hand, as is eBay. Also, someone had an HO Seaford from me. Ooh. Okay, thank you very much. There are foxes fighting outside my shed. Oh, I bet that's pleasant. Are you sure they're fighting? The noises are rather similar. But again, I will remind you, this channel is PG. There we go, that wheel's done. Chat went rather mad there from my perspective. I hope that didn't all come in that quickly for all of you that are able to watch chat and respond as it comes in. I looked over and saw the whole page. I nearly thought I was going to have to scroll up as I was looking for the messages I'd already seen. There's a bit of a forum post model row about shrinking trying models with IPA rubbing alcohol to HO. I made the post, you may have to test scrap first. I suggest 1960. That is really interesting, Matt. I want to I want to see that. Didn't ask the foxes. Yes, Corbs, we had the same thought. Only British locomotive, the few locos I have you could call HO is John Ball. I like that light button is worrying intact. Smash me. But I thought, no, that's not PG. Chat was fine on mine. Lost track a while back. I'm glad I'm not the only one read. I think I've caught up and read everything. Whether I've responded it to or not, but yes, Corbs, thank you for being restrained. But yeah, I had exactly the same thought. But of course, PG, you can insinuate things as long as you don't say them. If the children can't understand, it's okay. And that's become quite important recently as my son has started watching my streams whilst logged in to YouTube as me, so I do wonder what YouTube must think of that, seeing me sitting around watching my own streams. Hope they don't think I'm trying to artificially inflate viewer numbers. I still haven't painted these buffers. Right, so I'm stream building airfit C47 Monday, Tuesday, Friday nights from 9 PM British time. You may indeed say that, Christopher. Don't you need soldering iron for most kits? I have not had my soldering iron out for this kit other than wiring up the motor. So it depends how you build your kits. What do I have sat next to me? No, that's a big pile of white metal sat next to me. Of course, this carriage behind me that I'm working on, there's no soldering iron involved in this. And it will, when it's finished, be a very, very nice carriage. So I was at the Bluebell yesterday and actually rode in one of the carriages I have modelled out of those triangles. So that was nice. Even nicer because it was a first class one. Kits can be made from all sorts of... Yeah, chat is fine and dandy here. Good, I'm glad you're all okay and keeping up. Will be good, Carrier. Thank you, Corbs, much appreciated. C47 supply, they're sealed with a cowling on, and you see the actual radial engine line that's 3D printed and expanded the market. Feel free for the off-topic questions. If things have been brought up, you know, some of the Bachman Thomas stuff is HO. A few sales and showways winning Pride British. No, the Bachman Thomas is not HO. The Bachman Thomas is 00. It just claims to be HO. It is very much actually 00 though. Trust me, I've got enough of it. Hashtag secret submarine. 3D printing is great. We have 2 people really helping that in chat. And to them, many thanks must go out for the efforts they are putting into expanding the hobby. Remember, kids, hydration, very important. We're an hour 14 in, I'm only just through my first cup. One of the best things about the Bluebells is riding older carriages. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. As I say, a ride in there, London, Brighton and South Coast 48-foot first class yesterday. Absolutely superb. Would definitely recommend it. Chimney won't be retextured. That's a shame, Christopher. Do a bit of 3D printing for Model Rail Club layout, albeit not LBSC. That's 3D printing is great. 3D printing is the future. So I've decided, everyone, the biggest problem with this new camera angle is I can see all these notifications building up at the top of my phone. Oh, I've got a thing stuck to me. It's getting rather distracting. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Messenger. Pretty sure that's a Streamlabs logo. And my pedometer, I'm really sure I need that running whilst I'm sat here. Let's get some paint on these buffers, which I actually believe are supposed to be green from some pictures I saw the other day. Or green on the sides, black on the ends. But they're going black. I am very, very glad I have an external microphone right now, because my nose is practically on the microphone here. I'm sure that would not be a very pleasant experience for anyone right now. I only had 5 packs of crisps for dinner this evening. You know what, I had a very nice dinner this evening since it was Father's Day. Threw my diet out the window. Quarter pounder burger, Stilton, the lot. Aberdeen Angus burger for that matter, it was brilliant. Might get something to drink in a minute too, as you should, Max. Hydration is very important. July edition of Railway Modeller will have a British HO. Ooh. Changed it in what should be the right place. 3D printing better be the future, considering every logo for my layout is going to be printed. 3D printing the future of my website. If they were green in film, that was Ealing Studios' mistake. They're leather. That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure they painted them green though. I'm sure in a photo I saw, better than the one I have up here, they look green because they're way too shadowy on there. Were there any other things I was set to reskin? I don't think there was, Christopher. I think that was all you were supposed to be reskinning. A wonderful job you have done of it too. Right. We're going to leave that for a bit now. Let everything dry and harden properly. Focus. Nope, I can't force Streamlabs to focus. Okay. Just brings up chat. Rather long ago chat for that. Do you want me to check? Nope, they're staying black now, Alex. So last week we started on the 54-foot 5-compartment brake third, which, as you can see, has had a big section of another carriage chopped in the middle here, and the duckets chopped out in its place. We also got the end panelling for the brake end on, all the dividers in, everything is all nice and strong now. So the only thing actually left to do on this bodywork wise is get the panelling on here. Once that is done, it will be time to get the filler and sort out all these gaps. But the carriage is very nice and strong now, and even without the interior being painted, as I do that, you can see the huge difference it makes and how much less toy-like the carriage is from having the dividers in it. If you have some of these carriages and you want to add the dividers, you can head over to my website, oakhillmodelrailway.co.uk, link is in the description below. Head to the download section and there is a download for the file which contains the drawings for these dividers, the drawings for these panels, for this panelling, which would work with most companies, and the drawings for the Brighton break ends. All in a PDF in 4mm scale for you to print out at home and be able to cut them yourselves. Do you want me to check now? While I'm here I might do a couple of V1s. Go for it. I do like carriages. Have you ever tried 3D printing one? I have not. But I can get myself in a lot of trouble right now, because we have something coming up for the future that I'm technically not supposed to show you until I've done a bit of work to it. But we do have a 3D printed Southeastern Railway D-ended open wagon in resin off of an Anycubic photon, is that what they're called? Which this resin has not, you know, you can see this is still quite bendy, it is not cured yet. And you know, we will not be looking at that again until it is cured. This is a test print by the person who is doing it. It will be available to purchase in the future. So once that gets ready to go, we will have a nice resin 3D printed project. Already started on the dividers. Excellent, Harry. I am glad people are making use of them. I do recommend it. It's very nice. Yeah, it is very nice, James. As I say, it's a test print. It's not, you know, it might not be coming like that to end users. So I have been asked, before doing anything with it on stream, getting it to a certain point first. Now this is more awkward to bend and snap because here I'm using only 10 thou. I'd love a 3D printer, but money. Well, you know, Luke, if you start bartering with Skittles again, you'll never know what we could come up with. My 3D printer isn't anywhere near as nice as this resin stuff though, which is why it never gets used. Looks a nice wagon oak. It is, Max, it's really nice. Don't have my own, always send away from them if done. Well, I will be using 3D carriages. Well, it's cheaper to source the Triangle Hornby rocket coaches than getting 3D printed ones. So due to the steam locomotives, 1830s to 86 locomotives, it was hard to find. Yeah, they're very hard to find ready to run, but 3D printing is the way to go there. There is quite a few on Shapeways, which of course would make it easier for yourself to obtain them. And in fact, I know there are ones on Shapeways of British locos in HO as well, so even better, we will be looking at one of them in the future, which I will be building for someone on stream. Well, between numerous munitions myself, hopefully they'll be mostly covered in kit form. Yes, will be wonderful when there's more out there, Killian. We're all looking forward to that. Anyway, nice to chat to you all for a while. I have to go. First day back at work tomorrow. Got to be up in. See you later. Good night, Red. Welcome back to the UK. It's been great having you here, and I will speak to you soon, buddy. Kit's not hard to find. 3D printing label. You know, night red. Yeah, just lots of good night reds. Yeah, 3D printing is definitely the way to go for 1830s to 1860s. In fact, you know, Lion here, or the Titfield Thunderbolt as I'm doing it, although I've done this from a white metal kit, is available 3D printed from Newman Miniatures. Really need to Dremel for that kind of work. No, Max, I could never use a Dremel on this. It is way too flexible. So this is definitely cut by hand. In fact, it's cut by hand because I'm doing it for you lot, if I'm being honest. If I wasn't doing this on stream, this bit of plastic art that I'm now cutting would have been put into my silhouette cutter with the file passed to it through that, and it would have cut it all out for me. But that kind of feels like cheating, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this plastic is way too thin to use a Dremel on. As you can see from how easy I just folded that up. Lots of HO Great Eastern. Interesting, didn't know that was that HO Great Eastern would be a thing. Each to their own. Oh no, I slipped. You know, that is the problem with doing these, when you slip with the knife and you just knock your bit of paper off and it bends all your other lines out of alignment. It can be quite awkward. Thinking about doing HO layout of the era as you start to have the classic American full I still have the early Bowie and Stevenson some import logos. That sounds very interesting, Will. I like the sound of that. Not HO Great Eastern is indeed a thing. Yes. So whilst we're here, I'd like to remind everyone, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, donate on Patreon, all those other good things that YouTubers are meant to say. Now, the problem I've got now is I'm going to have to move this camera back. I'm going to move these first. Slide even these bits out of the way. Slide the glass back, and we're going to have to move the camera so that we're not looking at my panel of glass. I'm going to be going down onto the wood. Trying to work out there we go. Because it's much easier to cut these things with a knife over the wood. I say wood, it's MDF. Everyone knows MDF is not real wood. It's a product made from wood, but it is not in itself wood. But the knife can happily go all the way through the sides and into the MDF, so that makes cutting through these much easier, whereas it can't do that with the glass. Shocking, I know. Isn't it good how I can move my camera now? I would like to get, once again, like to thank my Patreons for that. Your support is very much appreciated. Luke is indeed the biggest LNER fanboy out there. Someone message me. No, he's not incorrect, Luke. You are. So, we have Batman John Ball, which many nice two for over in the shape ways. For the rest, seems the way to go. Yes, it does, Will. That seems to be your best options. I have the Bachmann Norris 420. It's a great loco. So, Oak Hill trivia time. Can you guess the film I had been watching when I came up with the title for this week's stream? The hint I will give you is it's not a modern film, and the inspiration for the title came from the title from the film rather than what's happening in it. Not really, Amy. I didn't see what was said by Max, but yes, please remember, this is indeed a PG stream. Ah, yes. You probably could have got away with that one if it wasn't for the smiley face at the end, Max. Thank you for deleting the comment, much appreciated. Still sat in my history. Remember, kids, hydration, very important. Not a big fan of the camera moving backwards, if I'm honest. I'm not a fan of the camera moving, but I keep hitting it because I'm leaned right over it. Okay, I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Drop an internet went down message in there. Is my chat working on screen? I'm not imagining that, am I? I don't know what made that work, but it's working. You see, that is where chat should have been the whole time. Right, so where were we before my internet went down? Because that's what happened. My internet fell offline because I have a really, really good router and it works really well. What? That building your own base and now charge okay falling out. Some videos in. It's not clear. I'll type this now. Right, we're back. If we don't like chat on screen, I can kill chat on screen. Probably not tonight, but that's more because I don't want to break anything any further after my internet went down. I don't want to knock the stream out again. So I will let there be a consensus on that from everyone. If people think it should go, it should go. If people think it should stay. Now, Luke, I asked why you didn't like the camera moving backwards. I do value your feedback, but I never saw it if you left any feedback. You may think it's a bit big in your opinion, but what are you watching on, Luke? Well, we have done fine without it for this long. You're quite right, Alex. Of course, the thing is, we haven't done without it for this long on purpose. Yeah, so you're watching on your PC, Luke. Now, what I want you to do then, Luke, is grab your phone, load up the stream on there, and tell me what the chat on screen is like on your phone screen. That would be that would be really good if you could do that for me. I would appreciate that, because I'll tell you what, I've got the chat is coming up on my phone as it does on screen, and it doesn't look all that big on my phone. So if you could do that for me, Luke, I would really appreciate that, and give me your feedback there. I can get how you think how it could be distracting for you people on PC, Alex. If you weren't such a Luddite. But, I mean, let's be honest though, it's not going to be a problem for long, because come next stream, it's going to stop working again. It did this to us before, remember? I think it was the second stream, it just started working. We don't need arguments. Luke, have you looked on your phone yet for me? Because I would, you think it's too big on the PC, so I would like your opinion from the phone perspective. I also want to know why you don't like me moving the camera around. Indeed. Opinions are opinions. Everyone has one. And everyone is entitled to it. All opinions are equal. Some are just more equal than others. Something like that. Got distracted by Instagram. Well, unless you were liking my posts on Instagram, I can't see what else could possibly distract you on there. With all the camera, it feels like a rave. Yeah, sorry about that. I keep knocking it. I am trying not to. But where it is, it's rather close to me and I'm leaned right over it. Let's see if I can... Right, there's a couple of screws there that I need to tighten up. Instagram, I would call it Instagrandad. Chat on mobile isn't really a problem because there is a button you can press to get chat as an overlay. Oh, is there? I didn't know that. This isn't going to work with the camera here. I'm going to have to put it back where it was because I can't see what I'm doing other than through the camera screen. Oh god, yeah, I didn't know it meant that was a reference TV show, had no idea. Okay, fine. Not a problem, Max. It's fine, especially since we can now see so much more. Okay. I think the consensus on the chat is I'll leave it alone. It'll stop working anyway. So those that don't like it will be happy because it won't be there. Those that do like it will be happy because I've not turned it off. They say you can't please everyone all the time, but I'm trying my best. The thing I always find the most fun about on-screen chat as a viewer is you can see just how bad my lag is. When Matt said it, I thought it was, quote, not anything rude, you people have dirty minds. I'll be honest, I didn't think about the rude connotations until someone mentioned it being a PG stream. So, yeah, that is why I said that's probably a comment you could get away with. Because there's a million ways that comment could be interpreted by people that know better. Right, so we've just got this bit here to chop. And then we are done with the cutting. So as you can see on the back, when I find where the camera is, it's not actually cut all the way through in some places. So we'll just roll the knife over there, and there we go. All done. With the best view of me cutting plastic card you've ever seen. Now we'll put you back somewhere about there, and you get a nice view of the glorious Tickfield Thunderbolt. When Matt said it, I thought it was quite nice. Yeah, just like Derek Bentley. Hydration, kids. It's important. Much more important than people not understanding quotes. So, oh, bye-bye camera. I forgot there's an arm on the front of this. Honestly, I'm not finding camera movement that bad. Better angle is worth it. Yeah, but Luke moaned about it, so I want to know why Luke didn't like it. Why not use a tougher plastic cement though? Nice, why not use a tougher plastic cement though? Because super glue will do, and this stuff's 30p a bottle. So that will go there and create the panelling on this end of the carriage. I just have to get all this paper off of it first. So, you know, the next camera improvement will obviously be to get some gyroscopes fitted on here to make the movement smoother, so it doesn't bounce around so much. That'll be really expensive though, guys, so you know, you're going to have to smash those Patreon donations to get one of them. I looked at a gyroscopic gimbal for these before. It was about 200 quid for a handheld one. But I would be able to make that into something usable. Actually, get used to using it, Gary. Rather like feeling of being at the workbench too. Yes, thank you, Corbs. I'm sure I will get used to using it. I really like having you guys down here at the workbench with me. I have been wanting to get the camera in closer ever since we first started. Patreon made it possible. Can't argue with 30p a bottle. No, you can't. Dub some D&B over the top. I was considering doing a bit of beatboxing as it was bouncing earlier. You know, give you the full rave experience. In fact, you're not far off the full rave experience. I need to have a look at my LBSC carriage lamp at some point through the week, because I've gone to turn it on today and it appears I have a loose cable. So you could even have the flashing lights with it, because we got them earlier when I was getting it running. Of course, this was 5 minutes before we went live. I didn't really have time to look at it then. Now, what we've done here, we've used the stickiness from the double-sided tape to temporarily hold the panelling in place. I will now run the glue round the edges. And that will give it its permanent bond. MC Garybot 2.0. LBSCR rave. So you're having to hold stuff up to the camera all the time. So yes, it does, because the camera comes to it for me. It also means that when I do this and put some super glue on the workbench, you guys can't see when I drop everything in it. Get a nice close up of my needle. So just a bit of super glue. Around the edges of everything. This stuff is so thin it works its way underneath. When are you going to remove the GWR door handle thingies you told me to remove? Once I've done this, Luke. Once this is stuck on, that is when I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, I am only capable of one job at a time. Because no matter how many gadgets I buy for this stream, I still only have two hands. I know it is a shame, I would like more than two hands as well. Address, happy to play mail. DM over Twitter be easy. Not everyone has a Twitter account. Alex, Ian does though. Yeah, Ian does have a Twitter account. Luke. Right. Let me have a drink because hydration is important. And then we shall remove some handrails. I'd love to have free loads to make driving much easier. You could just get an automatic, Luke. But a lot of people can't left foot brake anyway. I can. Fun fact. So, removing these handles, because Luke wants to see this. So he's not sure how to do it on his ones. Just coming in very, very gently from the bottom. Following the contour of the coach until we reach the bottom of the beading. Roll the knife over there. And the bottom section comes off. Knife along the top of the beading. Can be done in either direction. Takes the top bit off. You've already done yours, so what are you still going on wanting to see me do it then? And in with the knife and round underneath the handle. No more GWR handle on there. Phones die, it happens. Including on this stream. Do not worry about it. Handy to know the technique because I don't want you to forget. Like, yeah, I wouldn't forget, Luke. Remember, I've done most of a rake of these now. This may actually be the last one for that rake. PCs rarely die, don't need charging either. Slightly less portable though, Alex. Although I am considering getting a reasonably old computer, you know, not a new computer, one of the ones we're getting rid of at work. I'm thinking I might acquire one of them for the stream to sit and run YouTube on, maybe even be able to run Streamlabs on it if we're getting rid of one good enough, and then have a wall mounted monitor when I get the new studio up and running. Could I just ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate are these? By the time we're done, unbelievably close. We're probably looking at a sort of 9. Are you going to prime it, then paint it? Still need to get some filler on it first, and I still actually don't have any primer. I did not prime the last ones I did. But yeah, right, I should be back, everyone. I don't have a live feed anymore. And I don't have a live chat in front of me. You see, what I have done now is I have connected to next door's internet. I'm just logging my laptop in so I can get back into chat. Right then. My live chat feed does not appear to have come back yet, though, unfortunately. So, whilst I know you can see me, I can't see what you're saying right now. Careful mention, I don't want to set Luke off. Talk about early LBSCR. Pullman's bought from the MR. Bought them from the Pullman Company USA, which 2 survive of the MR type and 1 LBSR that is a home. Yes, Will, there is someone I know making a kit of those Pullmans, so they will be getting done. Oh, good night, Max. I am back if you're still around. I believe I also have my live chat again now. Could someone just drop a message into chat to confirm that for me, as I think it is working? Would be much appreciated. You are live. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Christopher. I like kittens. I see I like kittens on my phone. So there we go. Oh, that came up on my phone screen long before it appeared in my live chat on the laptop. It's a good message though, James. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. Oh, who's making that kit? As I would buy one and I don't even model 00. It is being made by someone that goes by the name of EB Models, which is short for Exclusively Brighton Models. The website, however, is not so easy to remember. So if someone could be ready to take note of this and be able to drop it in chat. There's a man called Ian. He does occasionally come along to these streams. His website is mjwsjw.co.uk. He makes early London, Brighton, South Coast stuff. And he is currently working on kits for the Pullmans, which, from conversations I've had with him, may be ready by the time I see him next in October. But do not quote me on that, because I don't know for definite. Blooming internet. Indeed, blooming internet, Alex. No, MJWSJW. It's just that G that you've got wrong there. Thank you, though, Christopher. It is much appreciated. But not a G, a J. Yep, that's the one. Thank you. Much appreciated. You are a gentleman. Damn, my posted link didn't work. No, I don't know what it is. I've actually changed my settings to allow links and it still didn't work. I did do a test with it the other day. And I don't know why it doesn't work. It is rather irritating. Oh yes, I know what I was doing now when... on the website. Excellent. I've seen some photos of the in production kits. They do look good even as they are now. So they will be great when they come out. But yes, I remember what I was doing before You may have posted it first, Alex, but YouTube doesn't like cooperating. I'm hoping we get a bit more cooperation now that I'm connected to next door's Wi-Fi instead of my own, though. My router can't kill it now. Oh, bye-bye, camera. That was silly. So, yes, what I was doing was I was going to... I noticed it was down because I got down from the... They will get you... There is a photo of the prototype that we are working on. Move this so we can get the arm. There we go. So there is actually one of these 5-compartment brakes. By the time we are done, we're very, very close to doing. These are very, very close models to their to the prototype. I love railroads. You fit up to that era. Which had everything exchanging stock and locomotives, an LNWR Dreadnought and the PRR and Baldwins on the GNR and MR. I hate YouTube too, so it's mutual. You know what, Will? A good model for early British railway companies with a variety of stock is Victoria Station in its earlier years in London. You had London and Brighton and South Coast and the South Eastern Railway there, and it was their station. But the London and North Western ran into there. I believe the London and South Western had a service that ran there. There were 2 platforms of Great Western broad gauge, all in one station. And there may well have been more companies than that there. There was certainly a lot more companies operating through to that side of London than just them. So that is something I've seriously, in the past, considered seriously modelling something like that. Being able to have a terrier sat there, or maybe not necessarily a terrier because of age, but sat there next to something like the Iron Duke on the broad gauge lines. That appeals to me as a scene. I think the LCD ran there. The LCDR may have run there, yes. It would make sense, although they weren't far off from there, were they? Football specials and such, who knows? Cost them a pretty penny. Oh, yes. Yes, it did. It's quite amusing. I have in my possession an original 1901, I think, London, Brighton and South Coast distances book. Shows where all the stations are, how far they were from each other, etc. Claims to be complete, but they've missed out Oak Hill, so, you know. There is a section just north of Clapham Junction, only 200 yards long, marked as being owned by the London and North Western, right in the middle of the London, Brighton and South Coast lines. I was looking at that just thinking, why? Why does the London and North Western own a 200 yard section of track in the middle of a Brighton main line? I want to know, but I probably never will. Carlisle served by L&W, Caledonia, Midland, Glasgow and South Western, North British, North Eastern and Maryport and Carlisle. Didn't the LSW and GWR share lines with some being dual gauge? Yes, they did in some places. LCDR were always very short on money. Indeed they were, as were a good few other countries. And yes, LSWR did share GWR sometimes mixed gauge trains. Mixed gauge trains, that's amazing. Maybe because the LNWR wanted to own a section track on. Yes, Luke. I'm sure they did want to own. Well, actually, they might not have wanted to own it. Imagine having to pay to maintain 200 yards of track in the middle of someone else's main line. I wouldn't want to own that. But, yeah. Doesn't really explain why, though, does it, Luke? Why did they want to own that bit of track? You'd have a converter wagon with very wide buffers, and the narrow gauge wagons were behind that. Oh wow, that's really cool. Railway inheritances worked strangely back then. Indeed they did. Right, that is the last of the Great Western door handles removed. I've just noticed, quite ironically after what Luke said, my charger's fallen out the phone. We're down to 73% battery. Let's see if we... There we go, back in. Also, were there not GWR flatbeds that held standard gauge wagons too? Oh, that would be cool if there were. And that is what I think you're saying, what I think. Hydration, very important, children, even if you're a superhero. So, that is the end of those Great Western handrails on both sides. We're already looking more Brighton. The OWW had its way, G12 would not have ended up with much of presence in Worcestershire. How wonderful that would have been. There was the paddock that carried 2 sets of 2-foot gauge wagons on top car. Very small wagons. Let's have a look at our good friend Thunderbolt here. Good wheel steel free turning. Most of this red is looking very, very nice. Like, not even second coat needed. Second coat not even needed, nut level of nice. Not so much on the tender. That definitely all needs a second coat. And I'm 99% sure the wheels and cranks will as well. Yeah, thought so. So, we're going to do a bit of that. I wanted to ally with the LNWR and Midland systems. GWR wouldn't let them go. Took them to court. Thunderbolts can raise how it makes such a difference. Fortunately for you, it's off fighting. Now, Christopher. Moderators are not here to start arguments. Ah, that's wet on there still. This paint really, really is knackered. I really must get another one. Well, some of the luggage locomotives later years used as quarry locomotives. Rocket was sold. Yes, Rocket was indeed sold to a quarry. Rocket spent more time in industrial use than it did in regular mainline railway use, in fact, I believe. Because, of course, by the time Rocket entered service, it was already obsolete as a passenger engine. The Railway Hub podcast did a good episode on Rocket recently. Another Rocket was in use. Brickworks in Manchester. Hey, I'm doing anything wrong. I'm thinking about diesels. Ooh, diesels. Really hoping I don't mess this bit up now with the second coat. I have it on good authority that Thunderbolt is looking forward to this painting being done so she can get rid of her pigtails. And yes, I do know female hairstyles deal with it. Some of us have to know these things. Oh, lots of chatting going on. By the way, very much enjoyed your Bill video calls. I miss reading your blog on RM. That place. Blue ones are that. Ugh, blue diesels. Nothing wrong with diesels. All traction types have their place. Indeed they do. But there's something specially splendid about pre-grouping railways. Thanks, Alex. Multiply carbide. Quite so, Mr. Pet Killinky. Was there not a guy who also converted them to saddle tanks, pre-grouping electric? Gosh, brush painting stuff. That fine is not easy. No, it's not. 042 types. Isaac Bolton. Yes, that's the guy. Pre-grouping electric. Very interesting topic. Brighton had some. Yes, it did. Yes, I've printed that in its original form. I used to live near the line they used to run on. Ian Simpson on here has it. They replaced the locomotive that replaced the Terriers. Yes, the Brighton electric system was very nice. Overhead electrics. Yes, they replaced the D1 was what was running in on the suburban services in London when they electrified. That having ousted the Terrier and then being ousted itself by the electrics. Yes, I enjoyed your Bill video as well, Corbs. Although my YouTube was not playing very nice and kept cutting the video out halfway through. I had to reload it several times. And in fact, not only did I enjoy it, but my daughter sat and watched it with me as well, and she rather enjoyed it. There we go, can get to some decent amount of paint now. Gonna leave them and do the tender whilst I let the rest of that dry a little bit. Superb job on this painting. Thank you. It is much more the masking tape keeping it looking good though. Sweet, thanks Gary. Anytime, Corbs. Yes, she did. She enjoyed that video very much, and I believe she is going to come and watch some more of your stuff with me in the future as it gets uploaded. There's not many YouTubers that she insists I don't watch without her, but I believe you're going to be one of them. There we go, let's thin that out a bit. Oh. Hoping Gary will build Killian's 042 on this channel. That is the plan, isn't it, Ian? It will be. I'm rather looking forward to getting my hands on that one. Okay, yeah, LBSCR enthusiast. What in the world was Craven's idea? 1 to 3 locomotives for one job, then building completely different locomotives when at the time most had standardisation of some kind. Craven was a nut job. That was his idea. Didn't believe in standardisation. He believed that that every job should have the loco specially designed for it. He thought standardisation was bad for the railway. The board of directors did not agree, which is why the Brighton sacked him and went and found someone who was pro-standardisation to replace him, which obviously is how William Stroudley ended up coming to the railway, being very good at standardisation as he had apprenticed at Swindon. And if there's any railway works that knows how to do standardisation, it's Swindon. Admittedly, not that early they didn't, but let's not ruin the joke here, eh? Rather electric take over the lines, I'd be honoured. Yes, that is I'm looking forward to it, Killian, if you're for your loco to turn up with me and be built on stream. I've seen pictures of it. It looks like it's going to be a very nice project. It looks very well designed. Oh no, I'm getting paint on the rods. I don't want any paint on the rods at all. It's fine, I'll be able to get it off. Need to catch up on Railway Mania podcast. Been loving those too. Yes, you do. They're very good podcasts. I hope we'll see much more hydrogen in the future. I think there's no other way it will all be hydrogen in the future. Working on episode 4 at the moment, a bit delayed, but it's on my list too. Well, Craven was mentally unstable. That's no exaggeration. We all know standardisation work of the devil, says the Midland Tank. How long did his locomotives last? The latest I can find reference to around 1912, and it's a shunter. I can't see any Cravens being around after that date. Definitely not. Stroudley got rid of them as soon as he could. Finally finished the first board. Wouldn't say very well designed. At least the K's Lion knows what motor will fit it. I mean, that depends on your definition of fit, Killian. It must have been about 2 hours worth of filing the inside of the boiler on Lion to get the motor to fit. And that is the motor that it was designed round, so it thinks it knows what motor fits it, which I think is much more dangerous. I remember some modification was wrong. Thunderbolt's not going to get very far considering the wheel doesn't appear to be attached to the axle anyway. No, Luke, we've been over this. The wheel is not attached to the axle at the moment. Whilst I am painting them, they will be reattached once they are painted. The loco runs absolutely fine. And has run in the past on Oak Hill. And it was very nice. Put that down a second. Where's me pointy stick? Focus, please, camera. Oh, you can just about see it here, even out of focus, where the axle gets thicker. So once the wheels are back on these thicker sections of the axles, they will be attached. My plan for motorisation is wing it and see what will work. That's the best plan, Killian. So I say inside there, these grooves down each side to fit the motor took about 2 hours of filing. So we're not doing any worse than that. Guess I missed a bit about detaching the wheels. Well, we detached the wheels last week. We already discussed it on this week's stream earlier on. Because last week I said I'd been very silly and put all the chassis together and soldered everything up and made it all nice without painting the chassis and the wheels. And that it was going to make my life awkward. But we'll get there. Edwardian's going to hate me after he tries to motorise the 060. Oh dear, Killian. Oh dear. How does one put white metal together? Does it slide together? That really depends on the kit. Let me get these wheels painted, and I've got a white metal kit next to me that I can take out and show. Much better designed white metal kit than this one. But the good thing about white metal is there's multiple ways of sticking it. So this kit is built with super glue for the parts. The next one we will be doing will be soldered. Both are perfectly valid ways of doing it, no matter what anyone else tries to tell you. We of course want to explore multiple options and teach people different techniques on this channel, so that is what we are doing. Soldering if being adventurous, super glue if being safe. Yeah. That seems easy. Well, like I said, I will grab this kit up in a second once I've washed the brush off and you can see. White metal can be welded with soldering iron. Yes, it can. It's very close to being soldered, so the iron will almost always melt it. True. Still hoping one day to get double O locomotion number 1 to work. It's been done, I just don't know how. Right, so white metal kit. Let's move the camera somewhere I'm not going to be banging into it constantly, but can still see what I'm doing. So these kits from Southeastern Finecast are excellent kits. They are very well casted kits. Lots and lots and lots of parts. But they come very nice and very easy kits. Right, there's the value of this kit gone. So as an example, that just slides onto there. Can take either glue or solder. It's all got tabs. It is very easy. The bottom of the boiler just slots in place. And this is just as it came out the packet. You've seen I've not made any adjustments to this. There's the front there. Yeah, I've said before that South Eastern Finecast and Wheels kits build themselves. I meant it. Already starting to look like a loco, and all I'm doing is holding a couple of bits together. Sorry, I made it lose value. No, that was a joke. This kit is going to be built on stream, Will. This is going to be a project coming up very, very soon. Alternate cab roofs. So this is one of the cab roofs. Just slides in, and then you put your glue or your solder on. Done. I'm looking forward to building this kit. One of these kits was in fact the first white metal kit I ever built, so I'm looking forward to coming back and building another one now that I am much more experienced in these matters. And so we will get one of them when done, although not in Southern livery, it'll be in London, Brighton and South Coast livery. It's odd how drastically different it was when that was lovely. I think I've been seeing drawings that's built, can't remember. It's the J39 white metal. Yes, it is. Those Seth kits look easier to build than thought, so life. Purely preservation. They are unbelievably easy to build, Luke. You know, when I say these things are really, really easy to do, I mean it. There is no joking in them being easy to build. They do just build themselves. Just pour myself a little bit more drink out. Hydration is very important, and I'm feeling very underhydrated right now. At 20 to midnight, so 20 minutes left on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some filler on the carriages. 1841, it blew up and got rebuilt. How easy are the chassis to build? It depends on the kit, honestly, Luke. If you want a really easy chassis, look for the Wheels versions on eBay, because they either use a ready-to-run chassis or a single cast block that you just poke the wheels in. That's still filthy on the bristles. That's not good. I don't mind the handles and stuff being covered in paint. But the bristles need to be clean. For obvious reasons. Much better. Woo filler, indeed, woo filler. You can... Oh. Yeah, that's a good place. I can work with that. Oh no, my filler's drying out. There we go. Don't elbow the boom, Gary. That would be silly. Now, there would, depending on what I'm putting filler on, I have a few different methods I use. One, of course, is, as you can see, is the knife blade, acting as my trowel. Not always suitable, but 99 times out of 100 it does the job for me. There are other times when I will do it with my finger. That's not one of those times, I just wanted to demonstrate for you. But one of the key things to do with filler is to put too much on. Not loads too much, but enough so that you can come back to it once it's dry with a file and file it down to be exactly the shape and profile and everything else that you want. These are kind of transition glorious. I hope it did transition nicely and wasn't too bumpy and rough. I assume K's milestones is what you should stay away from. K's milestone were okay, my Rover is very clean casting. Well, obviously this is the K's milestone, and it is, it's made up of very nice loco. If you want to watch its full, you know, we had our first look at this in episode 6. So if you want to go back and have a look through, you can see the process involved in a K's milestone kit. It is not, that has not been nearly as bad as what people claim they are. I have really enjoyed building it, actually. A lot of people will tell you to stay away from them. But, I mean, I actually went out and bought more K's kits because I've enjoyed that one so much. So there are more K's things to come. Nothing else from the milestone range yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be. Saw a K's Lion on Facebook recently that was so clean it looked like modern ready to run. I can believe it. And obviously detailing these things up is limitless, but you look at the planking detail on the boiler when it loads in. It is great. It is a really nice kit. The rivets are all there. The backhead detail is there. Obviously still needs painting, but it's there. Done nicely, done properly and completely, and with lots more ability. It's a wonderful kit. I have enjoyed building it. Yes, it's had its issues, but for those that want to super detail things, you could, and it could be a beautiful kit. It's a lovely looking kit, just needs the patience to get it right. Yeah, that's all it is patience more than anything. You know, I am far from the world's greatest kit builder. But that has come out quite alright in my opinion. Just need to put some filler over this edge where I may have sawed slightly wrong. But that's why we have filler. And in here where we did the same, again, put too much on and saw it down later. Up here as well we've got a hole. This is it's an important stage, this is. Take your time. Make sure you look all around whatever it is you're building. There's a little bit in there on the raised section that we need to get. And we don't really need more down this end, there's still a big hole there. But that could just be where I've broke this off, to be honest, actually. My super glue is too dry. One last question. Where do you buy your kits? I buy my kits wherever I can. Lion, Thunderbolt. A lot of the stuff it's come off eBay. I can also get things from local shows. Some bits have come off of people I know. And I mean, in some cases, such as Southeastern Finecast, it's owned by a lovely man called Dave. I know him quite well. So I can even get things direct off the manufacturer occasionally. So it's 10-2. And I think that's that carriage filled, so that is all we want to do on there. I'm pretty sure that what we're looking at here is a Thunderbolt that is dry enough to peel the masking tape off. Because this will be a brilliant way to end the stream, won't it? It's like a big reveal. Oh, I did go way off on there. That's okay. A little bit of touching up will solve that. I can't use the ones I usually use because they're covered in paint. Right, I can get that with my fingers now. Woo, marvellous progress. Thank you, Alex. That lag thought it had died again. It's not going to die. We're on next door's Wi-Fi. That's the problem. Fun fact, next door do not know I use their Wi-Fi. Come on. Oh, this is brilliant. Wonderful model of a wonderful loco. Thank you, Killian. She is certainly a wonderful loco. Next door must be numpties to leave their Wi-Fi unsecured. It's not that it's unsecured. It's definitely secured. I just have access. Tender looks good. Nice one. I'm liking this. Thank you, guys. I am so happy with how this has come out. There's a couple of bits that need touching up. Obviously there's some green to touch up in there. There's some black there. And then obviously there's the gold to do. There's a couple of bits of red that need to go on under here, but that's fine. Oh, I'm very happy. Wonderful job. Think I'm going to turn in tonight. Good night, Ian. We are just about to end the stream anyway, so you've guessed your neighbour's password. We could call it that. No, not too far like that. That's how we damage the thing. Right, that one's in exactly the right place. The new adjustments have enhanced the experience majorly. I am glad to hear it, Harry. As I say, this is much more like the experience I wanted to give you all from the start. And it has all been made possible by donations from Patreon. So if you want to help improve the stream further, then you must head to Patreon. I think it's patreon.com/Oak Hill Model Railway. No, too far. Bending the rods now as well. This is what I mean about it. This is how we break it. But it's okay. We can repair. The wheels obviously are not stuck on properly yet. They will be glued. But I wanted to be able to end with a nice shot of Thunderbolt. Look, we can go right down to this level. Internet problems aside, this has been an excellent stream as always. New camera arm has worked a treat. Masterpiece, unmistakably Thunderbolt. Thank you guys. Well, I make that midnight, which means it is time to end. I thank you all for coming. It has been very much appreciated. You have been excellent as always. I have been Gary, Bot 2.0. This has been Let's Build. You have been awesome. Good night, and I will see you all next week.